Hello, art friends. Now, today, some of you who have already finished your Kehinde Wiley inspired portraits will be able to go right into doing a drawing of your choice. Finish that one just with some stripes. And then this one I have almost finished. I just need to decide how I want these elements that tie the background to the foreground, how I want to add those in. So I'm almost finished with that, and then I need to, of course, sign it. And then when you are finished, if you needed more time to finish the Kehinde Wiley, did I say Basquiat or Kehinde Wiley? Kehinde Wiley inspired work, I chose as the subject matter of my portrait Basquiat, who is also a famous artist. But once you're finished with that, you'll have an opportunity to do a drawing of your choice. You did a great job doing what I told you to do for a project, and now you get to choose what you would like to draw. And I'll give you some tips about that, ways to find inspiration. But first, since we're close to Halloween, I did want to share with you something cool I found about artists that create gargoyles or grotesques. That was really cool. So let me show you that, and then I'll give you some tips on doing your own drawing of your choice. All right, let's get into it.
If you think this Halloweenish creature is grotesque, you're right. It's a kind of sculpture that's actually called a grotesque, a cousin to the gargoyle. And to tell the difference between the two, Faith Saley says just look up.
Grimacing. Gaping. Grinning. Mischievous creatures perched close to heaven, inviting us, daring us to raise our gaze.
This architecture is made to draw your eyes up, this Gothic architecture. And then as your eyes are being drawn up, you're seeing gargoyles and grotesques and, wow, look at that, look at that. Hey, is that Darth Vader up there?
It is Darth Vader up there. Crane your neck at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., or even take one of their gargoyle tours, and you might also see a wild boar, a turtle, a dragon, or one of the roughly 1,200 other roof dwellers.
I installed that horse.
Joe Alonzo is head stonemason at the cathedral.
Of course, my girl Medusa.
But many of Medusa's neighbors, like Darth Vader, aren't really gargoyles.
A gargoyle officially must spew water or be able to do so. I describe them as glorified gutters. If you look like a gargoyle in some sort of a monstrous or fantastic way, but you cannot spew water, you are officially a grotesque.
Janetta Rebold Benton is a professor of art history at Pace University in New York and has written about these hair-raising hobgoblins.
They're fascinating, and I think it goes along with the whole appeal of things that are just a little awful, a little bit frightening, a little bit creepy, the extreme edge of what we accept. It's part of human nature, curiously.
Where does the word gargoyle come from?
It's the French word for to gargle, and it has
gargoyle.
Yes,
something like that.
Yes. And it has to do with the word for throat, and that is, of course, what a gargoyle does. It spits water from its throat.
Ancient civilizations like the Greeks were carving water spitters more than 2,000 years ago. But Benton says gargoyles really came alive in the Middle Ages. Besides water control, they've been said to ward off evil and to frighten passers-by into piety. Monstrous angels created to delight God. Carver Walter S. Arnold says gargoyles have always, well, stuck their necks out.
I think the bishops knew that if you didn't give us the outlet on the outside of the cathedral, we'd be sticking a caricature of the bishop behind the altar. So they defined that you have to behave here, and you can talk about life and culture and society out there.
Arnold has carved dozens of gargoyles and grotesques for the National Cathedral.
Most of what carvers do is much more formal, whereas gargoyles for me are more like jazz. There's a concept, and you can improvise and just kind of discover what's in the stone as I go along.
This was the side that would be seen
He often collaborated with sculptor J. Hall Carpenter, who's designed more than 100 of these creatures.
One that Walter and I worked on together is the Crooked Politician. That's a gargoyle, and he's tampering with the scales of justice.
Pretty apt for a gargoyle that looks over Washington, D.C.
Absolutely. He'll have more spines, I'm sure, and he'll have some sort of toe.
Oh, he's so sad.
Yes, he is sad. But I'm most interested in the face here and what the details there will be and where his gaze will be.
Of course, our gaze will be skyward,
There are just creatures everywhere.
looking up with wonder.
Look up, consider the fantastic, consider the appeal of things that you cannot fully understand today, things that perhaps will ultimately have an explanation, and even if they don't, enjoy them just for the pleasure they convey.
Okay, I want to show you how you can find things that you might want to draw, and I'll show you my favorite resource first. I have a little link to YouTube because I go there, but I'm gonna type in YouTube and go to YouTube. This is one way to access how to draw videos that you might like to follow along, since you can choose to draw whatever you like after you have finished your project. So Art for Kids Hub, and I guess I should type that in, but I'll show you the second way. This is their site. This is some of their current videos that they have, but I think it's nice to just go to their actual channel, and then you can go through. I'm going to pause this because it's loud when it first comes on. And then you can go through and find, drawing tutorials for all kinds of things. You could go to their videos, and then they have them, they have a list here. They even have playlists, so you can search by subject. So if you're looking for created playlists, Halloween or Folded Surprise or preschool, if you're a younger artist. So this is a great way to find your own how to draw instructions. Another way to get to this same thing is in Google. And I'm going to let Google come up. And I know I'm on a different computer, a different kind of device, but Google is on all of them. So go to Google and go Art for Kids Hub. And you can see mine was autofilling, but I went ahead and typed it all out. Art for Kids Hub. And then you can go, this is their YouTube site. They have an actual site, which you may or may not be able to get to. I haven't checked that, but Art for Kids Hub on YouTube, you can click on that, and it's going to take you to the exact same thing. Actually, that one's quicker, isn't it? Because I didn't go to YouTube.
Hey, welcome to Art for Kids Hub.
I didn't go to YouTube and then Art for Kids Hub. I just Googled Art for Kids Hub. So that's a great way. If you're, for any reason, not interested or not able to watch videos, another way to search is in Google. Say you want to draw a pumpkin. How to draw or gargoyle, pumpkin. Then you can search for that, and then it'll give you visual step-by-steps for how to draw whatever it is that you're interested in drawing. If you prefer, to follow along a picture step-by-step as opposed to a video. All right, so I'm excited today to see the final finishers for our Kehinde Wiley project, and then also see some of your drawings of your choice. So, all right, y'all, enjoy.